In the headlines, Supreme Court reserves judgment in Atiku's appeal against Tinubu. Bandits invade Damusa, kill 9 in Katsina. Families of slain Gombe women seek justice. On the foreign scene, Israeli airstrikes kill at least 70 in Gaza. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now we begin the news from Judiciary. The Supreme Court on Monday reserved judgment on appeals filed by presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party candidate Peter Obi, challenging the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court that upheld the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the February election. The Apex Court justices led by Justice Inyang Okoro also strikes out an appeal by the Allied People's Movement (APM), just as it hears the applications of the former Vice President to admit fresh evidence against President Tinubu. Trustee Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Behind me is the Supreme Court, which is Nigeria's apex court. It has reserved judgment on the appeals filed by the major frontline presidential candidate in a February presidential election in Nigeria. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and his Labour Party counterpart, Peter Obi. Both of the parties are before the Supreme Court challenging the outcome of the Presidential Election Court on this matter. They have various grounds. But one of the new West ground is, of course, attempt by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to admit, if you like, or get admitted evidence arising from its discoveries from the Chicago State University concerning the certificates of the incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On both appeals, the Supreme Court had listened to both parties' arguments and reserved judgment. While it struck out the appeal by the APM, the APR, which was brought forward in contention of the ruling or judgment concerning allegation of double nomination by the vice presidential candidate, now Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima. The Supreme Court in this instance said it cannot sit on an appeal determined. So that means sitting on a decision that has been taken by the same court. It urged the parties to withdraw the suit, which they did, and then eventually it was struck out by the Supreme Court. Now, the panel of justices of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Inyang Eko, have reserved judgment on the substantive matter, that is on the two major appeals, that of the PDP and the Labour Party. It is for a date to be communicated to the parties in due course. And on the admissibility or otherwise of the new evidence, the Supreme Court has said that it is going to deliver ruling on that particular matter alongside the judgment it reserved. From the Supreme Court here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Now, as the elections in Kogi and Bayelsa draw nearer, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has unveiled modalities for conducting the elections and a short of using IRF to upload results. In this report, Noel Samson speaks to INEC's Acting Director, Voter Education and Publicity, to clear the air on the controversy behind IRF and other issues ahead of the elections. His report.
The INEC Result Viewing Portal, IRF, is an online portal where polling unit level results are uploaded directly from the polling unit, transmitted and available for public monitoring. This means the portal is not meant for collecting of results, as may be mistaken by many.
One of the challenges we have is the issue of people not understanding what the use of IREV actually is. Like I said, IREV is not a collation instrument. The Commission doesn't collate results with IREV. What it does is just to allow people to view results of the polling unit by polling unit. And the Commission intends to deploy this instrument again for the Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa election. And the essence is just for people to be able to view the result in real time. It is not for collation processes. purposes. And if I may let you know, the law states that every particular political party is expected to have a representative at each polling unit. And the law allows INEC to give the result of each polling unit to each of the political party agents present at the polling unit.
She also addressed the issue of deploying core members for the elections and their security.
The Commission does not have the manpower to be able to conduct elections. Take, for instance, for the general election, we used over 1 million officials. And for the Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi now, we also need large number, because each polling unit, you must have 4 officials. That's the presiding officer and 3 assistant presiding officers. The Commission is doing quite a lot to ensure the safety of not just the NYC, but everyone, including the voters that will come to vote on election day. Like the Honorable Chairman of the Commission will always say, that he will never be happy when a single Nigerian lost his or her life or is injured because such person is participating in the election.
Nigerians are hopeful that the upcoming elections will reflect the will of the people. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now on security matters, bandits in their numbers have raided the Musa town, the headquarters of the Musa local government area of Katsina State. A resident of the town who pleaded anonymity told a reporter that the gunmen attacked the town from around 8 p.m. last night and operated for hours, killing 9 people, including a policeman. He said the bandits have also kidnapped yet to be ascertained number of people and injured several others. He added that the attackers conducted house-to-house raid where they carted away valuables. Another source in the town said 2 of the victims were his neighbors, one of which was the policeman who was killed during the house-to-house raid when they saw his uniform. Unconfirmed sources in the community said the attackers might be on reprisal mission, as one of the bandits' leaders was captured and killed by the newly commissioned Community Watch Corps in the local government. Meanwhile, the police spokesman in Katsina, SP Abubakar Sadiq Aliyu, who confirmed the last night attack, said 5 were killed. Earlier, we had a thereupon called from Katsina with a Daily Trust reporter Tijani Ibrahim to give us an update.
Just a few minutes ago, I was able to speak with the locals, and they said the figure has even risen to 11 now. But the police spokesperson still maintained that 5, and he said 5 people were kidnapped during the incident. The community people are happy with the new security, the Community Watch Corps, because they said they have played an important role even in chasing away, together with other security agencies, chasing away the attackers. If not, they said the impact of the attack could have been worse than what they have recorded so far. You know, they said they are linking the recent attack or the last night attack with the killing of the bandits leader. They call him Usman Shehu, around Katira ward in the Damus local government. And the bandit kingpin, they said, has threatened to eliminate all the community coach operatives that were sent to the local government or posted to the local government. And it was as a result of that that they mobilized and they attacked him. I remember the governor said his administration will not be always on the defensive. He said they will be on the offensive, meaning taking attacks to the bandits' doorstep instead of waiting for them to attack all the time before the committee, the security agencies respond. According to the police authority, the police spokesman said 5 people were kidnapped, as I said earlier, but the residents were saying the number of kidnapped persons was 7. That was as at morning. And then about 10 people were injured, some of whom were at the hospital here in Katsina receiving treatment. The police spokesman in a text message sent to us said there are frantic efforts to chase the attackers and then perhaps try to rescue some of the kidnapped victims.
The family of a 58-year-old slain woman in Gombe Metropolis have called on authorities to ensure justice for their deceased relative. Aishatu Abubakar was gruesomely murdered at her residence in Jikadafari area of Gombe State Capital on Friday night. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail takes it from here.
These are the relatives and well-wishers mourning at the residence of late Aishatu Abubakar, known as Adadamori, brutally murdered on 20th October 2023. The suspect reportedly called the victim on phone while she was at her neighbor's house, but it turns out that she answered the wrong call.
Ta fito ta ji shiga makota gidansa kenan sai suka mata waya sai ta ce su waye ne kam.
The culprits called her on the phone while she was at a neighbor's house. They told her that she has some guests. She went to see them.
Na rasa me ne ni ban san su ba ma. Sai ta tashi ta fita ta shiga gida kenan.
Na zo ni shekaran jeran Alhamis mun kwana muna hira da ita.
On Thursday, we spent the whole night discussing together. She was treating an eye illness, so I wanted to revisit and see her. Then this happened. May Allah forgive her. Let Aishatu's neighbor, who was shocked by the incident, called on relevant security agencies to strengthen security in the state. Such crime can only be averted when the perpetrators are punished publicly to discourage others from committing the same crime. Government should take action and bring the culprits to book. This will serve as a deterrent to others. Nigeria Police Gombe State Command said it has arrested a suspect in connection with the incident. Aishatu's tragic killing comes 2 months after the murder of an Islamic cleric, Sheikh Ibrahim Albani Nkuri, in a similar circumstance. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
In the meantime, the operatives of the newly created Katsina State Community Watch Corps has been engaged in an extensive training in intelligence gathering, surveillance and basic self-defense techniques. Trust TV's Jamil Mabay reports that the move is in a bid to combat the rising wave of banditry and insecurity in Katsina State, ravaged by insecurity. His report.
This initiative aims to combat the increasing banditry and insecurity in the state. Members of the Katsina State Community Watch Corps have undergone training in intelligence gathering, surveillance, and basic self-defense techniques.
To that end, he felt the need to establish this Katsina State Community Watch Corps with the view, with the sole aim to augment the existing security asset of the state, because the security asset of the state is not enough to cover almost every area in the state. There are not many. So he decided to bring about this issue of Community Watch Corps.
The Community Watch Corps, which is supported by law and equipped with operational vehicles, are prepared to confront the security situation in the affected areas.
He started with the first frontline 8 local governments. In each of these 8 local governments, some young men were screened and recruited and trained to become the Katsina State Community Watch Corps in order to add off to the existing security personnel we have in the state.
The operatives, many of whom have been directly or indirectly affected by the bandits, are armed with pump-action rifles.
We are not trying to divide these young chaps to go to their various wards or villages to work. They are going to work as a team. Whenever there is any operation, they will go alongside the police, the vigilante for the operation. They are not going to separate.
The Katsina State government started very well. What we are hoping now is consistency.
Over the years, bandits have terrorized communities, especially in the frontline local government areas in Katsina State. They kill, maim, rape, kidnap residents, and loot properties, in addition to crippling economic activities in the northwestern state. Katsina State shares borders with neighboring states and Niger Republic, making it crucial for authorities to find a local solutions to the challenge.
It is a good effort. It is what we call community approach to the banditry crisis or banditry issue.
Security experts are urging other states affected by the banditry to adopt a similar approach for a more comprehensive result. Jamil Mabay, Trust TV, Katsina.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we take a look at the need to preserve the African way of life. Details of these and more after the break. Please stay with us.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty. It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira exchange rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to...
Since central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast. The number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation, and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our top stories. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Atiku's appeal against Tinubu. And bandits invade Damusa, kill 9 in Katsina. Now to more stories. Residents of Okba area of Lagos State Ojudu Bega Road, located approximately 5 kilometers west of Ikeja, the state capital, want the Lagos State government to commence repairs work on the dilapidated road linking the densely populated region. Our correspondent Victoria Toklo reported that despite its socio-economic importance to the people of the region, the deteriorating condition of the road infrastructure has generated some concerns. Her report.
Ogba area of Lagos State, Ojudu Bega Road, a central hub in the bustling Lagos metropolis, is navigated on daily basis by buses, taxis, as well as tricycles, popularly known as keke. However, deplorable state of the road in Ogba, Ojudu, whose countless potholes hinder the smooth flow of traffic, has been a major concern to motorists. These transporters and commuters who frequently fly the road share their experiences.
The village, ever since they constructed that new village at the back of the district here, so the problem started until they give a proper channel where the flood can go freely. Even if they repair this road tomorrow, before the next rainy season, it will get spoiled until the drainage was channeled properly. When the flood can flow without overflowing the road, that's the problem.
I can't say what's wrong with the road, but the road is bad. It don't get deep, more down what we are expecting.
When they bring out the sand from the gutter, they don't always pack it out. They need another rainfall, then the sand will not go back to the gutter. Eventually, the thing now get blocked.
They attributed the current state of the road in Ogba Ojodu Bega to what they called blocked drainage system, with numerous shops encroaching upon the essential waterways. Authorities in the state, however, commenced skeletal repairs on the road with a view to make it motorable. Ogba area is a busy community which is a host to a popular Sunday market, evening and night market, several shopping malls, hotels, guest houses, eateries and bars, making it attractive to those seeking for leisure.
The monarch of Ogwashu Oku Kingdom in Aniocha South local government area of Delta State, His Royal Majesty Obi Ife Chukudi Anishi Okunja according to the second, have called for concerted efforts to preserve African culture in the face of Western influence. According to him, the cultural heritage of the people is significant in defining people's true identity. Jonathan Awanyai has more.
The monarch told youth to support and promote efforts to preserve Nigeria's cultural heritage, stressing the importance of preserving the country's heritage. The traditional ruler harped on the need for Nigerians to appreciate and promote the country's diverse cultures, adding that cultural diversity is significant to national growth.
Our culture, and it is this unique culture that helps us to sort a lot of our problems, our social problems. So with our culture, you're able to know where the boundaries are between different age groups, between the different the sexes, and between the different socio-cultural organizations within the kingdom. So it has a lot of significance. We must maintain it, we must sustain it, and although I believe that we must reform some of it.
Others who spoke to Trust TV said preservation of Nigeria's cultural heritage is imperative for the country to liberate itself from the clutches of imperialism, which he said is destroying the country's natural values.
Mostly here in Delta State, need to involve Delta State arts and culture so that the government will come fully. Then they will create more awareness, the importance of culture in the community, because that is our identity.
What is happening these days, our youth have decided to imbibe the Western cultures and do away with our own culture. For me, my message is our culture is important. We cannot allow it die because of Western cultures. The West have their own. They want they practice. Let's say, for instance, now, you look at our youth, you see the way you see men piercing their ears. You see they're putting on trousers, allowing the trousers to go down, like they say they call it sag. You understand? These are Western cultures. These are the things that we have brought in from the white culture.
According to them, growing moral decadence in the society can be addressed if core traditional values are upheld. Jonathan Awanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
Now, hundreds of youth thronged the Bumpef residence of former Kano State Governor and 2023 New Nigerian People's Party NNPP presidential candidate Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, seeking admission into the newly established Majidadi Institute of Islamic Research and Advancement. The youth, male and females, all Quranic memorizers from the 44 local government areas of the state within the age bracket of 15 to 25 years were at the Bumpef residence of Kwankwaso, joining queues, writing their names for verification. Kwankwaso had recently donated a building to serve as the Majidadi Institute of Islamic Research and Advancement to address the issue of redundant movements of Al-Majri in the streets. He said the Quranic center, named after his late father, was meant to provide both formal and Quranic education to millions of Al-Majri of 15 to 25 years who had memorized the Holy Quran. According to him, these trained Al-Majri will be certified with primary, secondary and diploma certificates. He further explained that the enrolled Almajiri will undergo rigorous training in both English and Arabic studies, with which they will use the certificate to join the academia, as well as assist in their educational pursuit. It was guided that the center has a curriculum in which men and women will be trained within the shortest possible time to enable them to get primary and secondary certificates to enable them to secure admission into universities. And now away from Nigeria, Israeli strikes on Gaza overnight and early Monday have killed at least 70 people. Hamas officials said as the military disclosed that it has struck some 320 targets in the Palestinian enclave in 24 hours. The Hamas-controlled government media office in the blockaded Gaza Strip said in a statement that more than 60 were martyred in the Israeli raid during the night, including 17 who were killed in a single strike that hit a house in Jabalia in northern Gaza. At least 10 people were killed in new strikes on Monday morning, the media office said in a separate statement, bringing to overall toll since Sunday night to at least 70 deaths. The Israeli military said on Monday it had hit over 320 military targets in the Gaza Strip over the past 24 hours. More than 2 weeks, Israel has pummeled the Hamas-controlled Palestinian territory with airstrikes following a cross-border attack launched by the armed group on October 7th. The violence has left at least 1,400 people dead in Israel, according to official figures. The bombing campaign has killed more than 4,650 Palestinians, mainly civilians, including at least 1,873 children, according to Gaza's health ministry. Between 200 and 300 people have been killed each day in the besieged territory. According to government rules, amid the campaign, tens of thousands of Israeli troops are guarded along the enclave's borders for a widely anticipated ground invasion. Israel has warned more than 1 million residents in northern Gaza to move south for their safety, and the United Nations says more than half of the territory's 2.4 million population is now displaced. And finally on sports news, Anthony Joshua says his fight with Deontay Wilder could be part of a sensational double bill with Titan Furies. But Gigan's Alexandra Usyk champions Fury and Usyk agreed a deal in October for historic undisputed heavyweight fight set to take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Former two-time world heavyweight champion Joshua has been heavily linked with a fight against hard-hitting American Wilder Fury, 35 years must first come through uninjured in a non-title bout against MMA star Francis Ngannou on Saturday in Riyadh. Brighton Fury is the WBC champion and Ukraine's Usyk, 36, holds the WBE, WBO and IBF titles. The winner will be crowned the first undisputed heavyweight champion in the four-belt ultra. Fury has won 33 fights with one draw since turning professional in 2008, while Usyk, who has won all 21 professional bouts, defended his titles against Londoner Daniel Dubois in August. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV's news update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.